The two most important dates on the Christian calendar are Christmas and Easter. Christmas is when baby Jesus was born. Easter is when Jesus rose from the dead. The story of Easter began before Easter Sunday. It began before Good Friday. It began before Holy Week. It began before Palm Sunday. It actually began when Jesus went to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover like he did so many times before. On his way there, Jesus told his disciples that he would be put to death and then rise again 3 days later. At the village of Bethany, he stopped to see Mary and Martha and Lazarus. Lazarus, who had died 4 days earlier, was raised from the grave by Jesus. Then Jesus made his triumphal entry into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of Holy Week, Jesus taught and preached and worked miracles. On Thursday, he had his Last Supper with his disciples and then instituted communion. That same night, in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was betrayed by Judas. Jesus was arrested, put on trial in the middle of the night, and then he was condemned. The Jewish religious leaders sent Jesus to Pilate to be sentenced to death. At 9 a.m. on Good Friday, Jesus was crucified. By noon, the sky had turned very dark, and then Jesus died at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He was buried, and a squad of Roman soldiers was ordered to guard his tomb. But on Easter Sunday, Jesus rose from the dead, and a resurrected Jesus Christ was seen by many eyewitnesses. In order to win our hearts, Jesus obeyed the law. In order to win our hearts, he allowed himself to be arrested. In order to win our hearts, he allowed himself to be mocked and to be beaten. In order to win our hearts, he allowed himself to be crucified. He hung on the cross in excruciating pain for 6 hours. And in order to win our hearts, he died, he was buried, and he was resurrected. And this was to win our hearts so we might invite him to live in our hearts in this world, in the world to come, and then for all of eternity.